Hi guys, welcome to the webinar series, the start of the June series. I would like to welcome Senthil, Darshan, fellow directors in Dental Routes. And on behalf of us, we would like to welcome Manish. Hi Manish.
Thank you, Pratap.
Welcome, Manish.
Yeah, Manish has been in the industry of dentistry since 2006, the time we came to UK together. I know Manish since then. He is one of those few fellows who have taken on board everything that can be thrown at them and come out of it with a lot of knowledge. I personally myself have attended many courses of Manish, and I can say from my side, literally intensive and enlightening courses. Thank you, Manish. And the style with which he teaches, it's amazing. You'll get a experience of it today. This is not face-to-face, but unfortunately webinar because of the COVID. Manish, any words for our, starting words for our candidates, participants?
First of all, thank you for spending this afternoon today. And thank you, Pratap, Senthil, Darshan, Kaushik for inviting. Looking forward to spending the next 1 hour, 1.5. There is no time restriction at my end. I'm here till the last question is asked. But the presentation should be around 45 minutes. But thank you.
Perfect. So that's Manish over there. Manish, at this point in time, is the owner director of multiple practices. He is also the founder member for Dental Concepts, which did a fantastic course a couple of years back for UK dentists. I don't know why he has stopped it. I think he should continue with that. But he is now into Dental Business Masters, which has got its centers all around the world. He's almost a worldly speaker. Manish, would you want to now introduce yourself, your growth in your life, basically? Start from there.
Sure. So I might not bore you too much with my story. It's all about your story at this stage. But just very quickly, I've been a dentist for 23 years. I graduated in 1997, and the situation at the moment is I do have practices in the UK. We have 3 practices, 1 in the pipelines of 4, and then we have 1 in Mumbai. It's me and my wife Shilpa who are the practice owners, and we run an academy which is called as Dental Business Academy. And I have knowledge through mentors, Right Barrow, Latter, Laura Horton, Brendan McDonald, Amer Amin. There are quite a few. And what I did in 2015 was I sort of processed the knowledge. I bottled it into a common platform so that I could teach in India primarily, because there was no access to this kind of shares in India. And then we rolled out a program in India with these mentors. So they attended with me in the year 1, and then I carried on forward. So I teach into mainly 6 aspects of dental business, clients, and then I talk about communication skills, speaking, which ultimately is the key for ethical selling. Then I talk about leadership and mindset and other things which entrepreneur needs to be. Then we talk about ethical marketing. Then we talk about showcasing. And then we talk about showcasing is expert positioning, patient journey. And then we talk about finance. And I think today I'm going to talk onto basic finance, and I put it as money matters. So it's a journey of 23 years, and I'm just sharing my own experience through this knowledge. That's it.
Perfect, Manish. Not many people know how well versed you are with economics. The insights you bring into the discussion when we talk about how practices should run. Some of the chats we have had are really interesting. I hope our audience today, all the participants, will benefit from your insights, and we would take it to that stage now. Before we start off, anything you would like to know or dwell on? Darshan, Senthil, do you have anything to say?
No, I just need to second that because I have attended Manish course. Is it 2 years back? Yes, it was 2018 in Hampshire. His practice was as an inspiration to me. Before I did my practice, I went and spent over half a day with Manish to learn and got a lot of insights from how we approach. Because Manish, I think you started with a squat, isn't it?
Yeah.
That
So
was a squat. It was an industrial.
can I say something, Senthil, for the group, that now I need to come and see your practice because that's an inspiration for
No,
many.
in truth, actually, Senthil has got an amazing practice.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Yeah.
you guys should go and visit his website to see his practice.
Uh,
He's got a wonderful video over there. He's another guy who has actually demonstrated a lot of entrepreneurship, I would say.
Definitely.
Well done, Senthil.
Thank you. But Manish, in that way, I got a lot of inspiration from your practice. But thank you. Thanks a lot for
Thank
your
you.
help. And thanks for
So,
agreeing to.
guys, another thing people are not aware usually is Manish has helped a lot of dentists coming from India. He used to mentor completely as a charitable thing, uh, uh, teaching students how to get into VTE, how to pass IQE. Even in his early days, he was always leading the show in these kind of aspects. He was one of the first guys from our batches which came to UK to buy a practice. He ran it successfully, developed into multi dental centers now. I think he's got 3 practices in UK, Manish, and
Yes.
probably a couple in India, is it?
That's right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
around, in 5 in total, as I said. And I think there is a journey which, as we explore the topic today, I'm just going to share a bit of story around it. So if there is anybody at stage 0 who's just about to start practice, somebody at age 10 or age 25, doesn't matter. Whatever I'm speaking today will apply to all of you.
Sure. So, Darshan, anything you want to say?
Yeah, no, I must say that I'm at that point where I want to learn a lot. I've attended 1 day course with Manish. I think it was probably early last year, and it was pretty much an eye opener. At that point of time, I wasn't a practice owner as such. I was still working as a visiting associate. But now I'm a practice owner, and there's a lot of questions, a lot of changes. As a new practice owner, mainly of a private practice, there's a lot of questions that are left unanswered. And I think from what I heard from Manish last year, I think there's a lot more for people like me to take away this year, considering all the changes with the COVID and situations that have changed, and the current guidelines and obviously the new concepts that we'll have to apply. It'll be, I think, a very, very eye-opening situation in the next 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks, Manish.
Yeah.
Try my
One
best.
of the other ventures Manish does is he like we had collaborated with Manish, where Manish had come over and trained our old practice staff. I don't know, Manish, do you still do it, or was it like a one-off for just for me?
Yeah. No, I do it for friends, and if anybody needs any help, now I don't need to travel because I can get into a Zoom call, get 6 of your staff members, and have a chat with me. I would be very pleased to help. Yeah.
Manish actually trained all our practices, and my staff was literally thrilled with the way Manish actually went through the whole process. They're all on the webinar today, and they were actually quite pleased to notice him again that he's doing a webinar. Hi from the entire staff, Manish. So I think, Manish, we can start off now, since we have, I think, enough participants have joined. Now, if you take us through the concepts that you want to dwell on, and if any of our participants want to ask a question, they can enter it through question and answer section of the video. Okay? Excellent. Over to you, Manish. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll just share my screen 1 second. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so I am just going to check. Right, I'm just going to check if the screen is movable. There we are. Okay, guys. One most important thing I want to promise you is I want you to be sort of watching through the presentation, but as you go through, if you have any questions coming up, my intention today is finance. but anything related to non-clinical aspect, I'm more than happy to answer. If it's related to COVID, post-COVID, etc., that probably is the key thing for today. But my intention today is to teach some real basics. And when I talk about basics in finance, I just want to make sure that I'm doing this because there might be people who know more than what I'm showing, but there might be people who are just starting, etc. So I'm almost going at level 1 or level 2 and nothing very rocket science, but I think this basics is probably required. And I put the name intentionally that there are two sort of understandings, or the word matters is come up in two different things. So money obviously matters to all of us because we have to run a ship, which is the dental clinic. But there are money matters, which means we don't know what money matters are sometimes. So that's how I've used it here. And it's time to think differently. And I was listening to lots of accountants, lots of financial experts over the last few years. And there is one important slide. So when I come to that one important slide, you will understand what I'm saying when I say time to think differently. Yeah. So very simply, I want to move on to something which comes on your screen now. If you don't have money, then please let me know because I have printed enough. So so just send me your email and I'll send 50 pound notes to you. I have enough of them. Okay. So at one given time, this was just our marketing kind of strategy, where we printed some notes, and we were told by the printer that we can't really print the exact size as the currency. Otherwise, I would have used it. So there we are. Money does matter, and if you can't earn it, print it. So there we are. I want to come to a sort of share later on where I want most of us who are keen to understand the future to go through something called as a cash flow. And I'm going to be very honest, 2018, I was expanding, I was growing, I was putting money straight into business. Anywhere I thought I need to do, I never even painted the walls at my house. I was just saying the interiors can wait, let me put the money back into business. And sometimes you go too aggressive. And 2018, I hit at an investment which didn't put returns back very quickly. And our assumptions were wrong. Although I was teaching dental business, I was doing my stuff. Sometimes the assumptions don't go to plan. And if you don't have a sensitivity analysis, your cash flow can go wrong. So as I'm speaking to you today, I'm much better situation. Even with the COVID break, I'm proud to say cash flow issues don't exist at the moment. They will come, but I'm prepared to face them. But 2018 to late 2019, I was struggling. And I had made it public that I'm struggling. And I had made it public to my team. I had made it public to my dentist. I had told my teaching fraternity as well that I'm going through tough times. And these are the reasons why I'm going through tough times. So what I'm sharing here is a experience which I particularly feel was the rocking time in the last 23 years. And at this point, when I speak to you, I feel confident that these times will come, but I will be prepared for that. And this cash flow sheet, which I have prepared for all of you, is an important tool which you can use. And when you use this, you will understand one thing, which is, am I good for the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months? My distress point will come in 6 months, 1 month, or am I in distress already? And then I know what my contingency should be. And is it my personal savings coming out to support my business? Is it HSBC and Barclays trying to fund me through bounce back loans or whatever? Or is it bank of mom and dad or bank of friends and family, which is going to support me? So in effect, this cash flow forecast, if you really want to take something away from today, then you will be downloading this Excel sheet. I've prepared it with all the calculations and everything. It's no brainer. You just need to put some numbers in there and it will automatically calculate your own personal and professional cash flow. Yeah. Now, when that happens, you are prepared. And everybody is through a challenge at the moment. It's not you, me, or Pratap, or Senthil. everybody is going through a challenging time. The challenge is either this small or this big, and 20% of the UK practices have actually stopped and they have gone out of business. That's the truth. 1 out of 5 dental practices have closed down in the last 3 months. And they have done so because they wanted to either cut the losses and not incur any more losses, or they didn't see any future for their business because they were cash deficient. So the important part to remember is, it's a very cliched line and everybody knows cash is king. And when we come to the next slide, you will understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So I'm going to say there are 4 dentists in the room at the moment, and you either sit in one of the box. Yeah. And if there is any other category, then you can tell me in the chat box, if at all. Okay. But my understanding is there are 4 types of dentists sitting, or 4 type of business people sitting in this conference. If you are watching it live or if you are watching it recorded, there are 4 types and you will fit in one of them. Yeah. I just want to explain the ABC of dental business, and I'm going to take you to that understanding. So A stands for asset. Okay. I'm just going to get an interaction here with Pratap or Senthil or Darshan. Just a quick question. If Pratap wants to answer.
Sure, Manish, go ahead.
Pratap, you are 0 at this point and there is no cash in the bank. What is it that you can sell and get some cash? Name one, quick one.
Assets, written materials that you have ordered recently.
Materials, yeah, materials in the practice.
Yeah.
So which means you return it back. Anything other than business you have at home, like car or something, which you think, that's it, I'm going to sell this, I need cash.
Oh yeah, I got lots of cash.
No, assume you don't have cash. What will you sell?
I don't see much, only the house, I think.
Oh, you have a Rolex watch. You can sell that.
Yeah, you could sell your watch. Yeah, watch.
Just to put
you could sell the car. Yeah, you could sell the car probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, what I want to say to the audience is there are physical, tangible items which form asset. Yeah, and some of you might have assets, some of you might not have assets. Yeah, there are 2 types of assets. One is tangible and one is intangible, which means there is a goodwill for Pratap's practice, and if Pratap decides to sell the practice with its goodwill, that is also an asset. Yeah, just for you to understand. Pratap, any business running at the moment for you which is generating cash? Assume no patients. Assume no patients.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pratap has some kind of business running at the moment, which is not the dental practice, which is getting some cash in the bank account. Yeah. So that's the second B. Then we have hard cash, which means I have cash in a pouch or I have cash in my bank account. So these are the ABCs, and there are 4 types of people sitting in this room. I'm going to skip the interview for later. The first people are who have asset, business income, as well as cash. The second type of people are who probably have some business income coming in, but no assets. Third type of people are who have no assets, no business income coming in or salaries coming in, but they have some limited cash. And the most unfortunate ones are who have nothing, no asset, no business income, no cash, and they are in distress now. Category 2, which is with the C, they will be in distress very, very soon. Category 2, which have some business source coming in, they will be in distress a bit later. And the people who are with the ABC are fine for now. Yeah, till the dental practice opens up. So,
Manish, just to ask a question over here.
Yeah.
Looking at the market right now, if you were to look at the whole market, what percentage would you say would be in the category 1, category 2, category 3, and category 4?
I don't have an exact analysis, but I can clearly see if that associate is a private associate who has no NHS income, he doesn't own a practice, he has no other revenue stream other than his actual monthly earning as a private associate, and he is probably a new starter who is 3 years into it, he hasn't done any savings, then maybe that's the person who needs a bit more help at this stage in 3 months, because there is zero income. He has no bank balance, no business, and no assets. So there will be a few people like this. That's my guess. Yeah.
Sure.
So I want to interview Senthil at this stage and just ask about any challenges. Is Senthil around to actually
Yeah, I'm here.
answer?
I'm here.
Good, Senthil. Senthil, you are a business owner, you are an entrepreneur, you have done lots of investment, and you have a lavish practice at the moment, or two maybe, and you're sitting there for 3 months. When you look at the whole picture, what are the different challenges or different thoughts? I just want you to express one by one, and there is a slide coming up after this, probably, where we can match your thoughts as an entrepreneur. You are into business for, I'm going to say, is it close to 20 years or less, like since you graduated?
I graduated in 2000. Yeah, it's almost 20 years. It's 20 years. Yes. God, time flies.
If you could bullet point and say, these are the thoughts running through my mind in regards finance, business survival, business growth, decision making for me to do over the next 6 months. What are those challenges which you wake up with in these COVID times?
Okay. So the first thing is, you rightly say I'm in top category 1, asset, business, and cash. But then I do have only, I always keep a contingency cash, but 3 months, it's a long time, because when we go after 3 months, cash flow is the most important thing here. 3 months I can sustain. However, going after 3 months, where is the traction going to be? Because that is where because the uncertainty of the traction, where I need certain amount of money to pay the bills to going forward. Because all those furlough scheme, everything is going to die down, and I need certain amount of people to come to work to have a certain amount of productivity. So that's my main planning strategy right now. How can I sustain for next 6 months with the cash flow?
Yep.
Second,
and my question on that one is, do you do your cash flow on Excel sheet, or does your accountant do it, does your bookkeeper do it, or do you do it on a paper and pen on books? How do you?
I do my cash flow through my accountant, because I always look at what is the last year, March, what was my outgoings, fixed cost. So, and I compare that, because I'm almost the same from last year to this year. I needed about 30 grand. So I need about almost, give and take, lesser than that, because your expenses have gone down a bit there. So we're almost the same. So I go follow that. But I'm not great in Excel, but my accountant does it. I just follow that. I just ask him to do that for me.
Yeah. When you compare last year to this year, which are the key things you look into your accounts? What are your key performing indicators? What excites you, or what challenges you? Do you look at your accounts every month, or do you look at it at the end of 12 months?
I look at it every 3 months.
3 months, yeah.
Every 3 months before COVID, purely because with every month we have we do our end of the month report. So are we in line with the last year? But we don't go into every week. But and then every 3 months we look at the quarter, every quarter. What did we do this quarter to last quarter? Did you do well? Not well. So based on that,
can I ask on that, how do you decide that you have done well? What are the parameters?
Main thing is the gross. The gross taking total income. Total income, because most of the times your expense is going to be the same. So one is fixed, other one is movable. You say one is the fixed cost, you can't change it. So, but the gross, you can change it. So you work on how to improve the gross. So that's what it worked in favor still now. But now my fixed is going on, but the gross is coming down or nil almost. So that's where my concern is that cash flow. As long as I get the right cash flow, I can build up where I was in 6 months. We should be able to build it up.
Fantastic. I think this is purely exactly how business people are thinking at the moment. And I used to feel very, very happy about growth in 2011 to 12 to 13 to 14 to 15 to 16. I used to compare the graph. I used to look at the top line and I used to really feel good. 43% rise, 28% rise every year on year. Dental concepts grew, and a business which was purchased at 140,000 pounds gross income a year stands at 2 million. And I'm thinking, wow, Manish, well done. And then this is the crux, Senthil, taking it forward from here. The reality strikes when we actually look into the bank account. And every time I had some questions coming up, and I'm just coming up with those questions which have been asked by some candidates for this program. And it's a mix of what I think as well. And I always keep going back to say, I have no bank balance. What's wrong? Yeah. Then I'm thinking, my expenses are high. What's wrong? Or maybe, are they correct? What's wrong? Pratap, there is some background noise. If you want to mute the candidates, thank you. So then we have the third thing coming up, which is, shall I invest in high-end equipments like 3Shape scanner, iTero? I have all the scanners now. I have a Medit, I have a iTero, I have a 3Shape. But while investing, that whole thing about what's the return on investment? Should I invest? Should I not? And have I bought through my emotional brain or my business brain? There are two brains in the head, and the emotional brain is the clinical person who goes and buys things like this. Yeah. So why am I buying this? That was the question. And sometimes I bought it now. What do I do with it? Yeah. COVID times, post-COVID times, mostly people are thinking, shall I increase my prices? How am I going to actually sustain? Should I just pass the charges to the patient? What should I do with my pricing? So that's one. Then we have like cosmetic dentistry recession. Senthil, you are doing all on sixes, smile makeovers, etc. That fear crosses my mind as well, that quite a bit of my business, 80% is private, 20% is NHS. So am I going to sustain all this private business? Is it going to happen? So those are the things coming to my mind. Then we have, how do I actually build my practice back again? Am I going to go down by 50% or 70% or 60%? It's a completely unknown zone when we go back into business. So that's another thing which is bothering me, of what exactly will happen, how many patients will I do? And then the last question is, what is my worth? What is my business worth today? If I just quit, if I just sell, if I just go away, what money will be in my bank account? So these are the 6-7 questions which come to my mind. I am going to address these towards the end. And my request to organizers as well as participants who are watching this is, if you have anything else other than these, feel free to put it in the chat box even now. And at the end, Pratap and me will filter it out to answer them if they are not answered over the presentation. Yeah. So Senthil and Pratap, any questions at this stage as I go to the next one?
No, Manish, you've taken it quite well. Basically, you are trying to fix the whole population of dentists into 4 categories, and you're trying to take them through how it affects each of these categories, basically. Various concepts right now.
Yes, because I don't know the age groups at this stage, and I'm just going to go into the chat box if I can. I don't know if I can. Yes, actually, if I may just quickly ask, in the chat box, there are 64 people in the room. If you can just type your age, your physical age in the chat box for me, that would be a great help. Just put the number like 43, 45, 24, 72. What age are you? Right from the panelists up to the participants. A quick one, just to see what the room looks like, please. Thank you.
Okay. But Manish, just to add on to your challenges list of 7, it's beautifully you've categorized that. It doesn't matter whether you're an associate or a practice owner. It goes through everybody's mind. So it's nicely done for both of them.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I can see there is Neetam, Sheetal, Yoga, logged in. Somebody is logged in. Idea UK, Vinaya, Bruno, Manish, Prakash. I can see age category up till now 33 up to 51. Some of them have taken some put some numbers here. Thank you very much. Okay, fair enough. Somebody says chat is disabled, but anyways, so I'm going to sort of say we are all in that bracket where we are possibly mid career. That's what I'm thinking, and I want you to focus on these two words here: fixed expense and variable expense, and that's the crux of finance. Yeah.
Sorry, Manish, one second.
Yeah.
Can you just ask them to do it in Q&As rather than the chat?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Some people have put it in Q&A. Some people have put it in chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want them to put it in the Q&A and not
Yes,
in the
please.
chat. Yeah.
Yeah, yes,
Any kind of communication you want it in the Q&A. Yeah.
Yes, please. Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've seen the chat as well, and I've seen the Q&A as well. So that's fine. I can get a rough guidance of where people are at this stage, which is helpful. Thank you, guys. Okay. Fair enough. And there is a question come from Neetam as well, which I will, is this the right time to buy or invest in a dental practice? We will address this, Neetam, at the end. Thank you. Now, my question to all of you is, and if you have a paper and pen, just quickly, simply, I'm going to go into your personal survival, nothing to do with business. What is it in this lockdown phase, considering the banks were taking all the installments in your personal account? What is it, if you hadn't paid for, you would have been on the road or you would have died? Let's put it that way. And one thing which comes to my mind is food, maybe electricity. And we can't live with our mobile phones. So paying the mobile phone bill or the internet Wi-Fi bill, we would have gone mad if there was no internet. So fixed expenses in your personal life are something which you cannot live without. Yeah. And variable expenses are expenses like buying a pizza, going on a holiday, maybe buying a fancy car, maybe going out for movies, maybe paying a gymnasium fee. I don't know. So health might be in your fixed expense category. And maybe buying a pizza might be in your fixed expense category. But could you live without it in the COVID times? Then whatever you spent in the COVID times is actually your fixed expense. And that could include the mortgage for your house or your rent. Yeah. So as long as we understand the concept that I can't live without these expenses, and my business cannot live without these expenses, and they are rent for the premises, property, EMIs, staff salary, electricity bills, phone bills, etc. As Senthil said, anything which is fixed, I have to pay, even if the patient walks into the clinic or not. That's mandatory. And variable expenses are something which start for a business when a patient actually walks in. When do you need Dr. Pratap to come and perform the implants, or Dr. Reddy to come and perform the implants, is when a patient walks in. Till then, Pratap is not needed. Pratap was not needed for last 3 months. Dr. Senthil was not needed for last 3 months. Aesthetica Dental Lab, Angelo, not required for last 3 months. Yeah. Dental Directory, Rights, Henry Schein, no material ordered, not needed when patient didn't come in. The waste disposal guys, unfortunately, they were cheeky. They still charged us, but they were not required because there was no waste being generated. Yeah. So in effect, there are variable expenses which will kick in when a patient walks in. As long as you get your head divided between these two, your cash flow projections become very, very easy. I know I need 3,870 pounds per month to actually survive, which means pay my mortgage, pay my son's school fees, buy food on the table, use some money for travel, phones, bit of house utilities, etc. In that amount, I can survive, and I can cut it down even further. But my expenses per month can be 7,000 pounds, 8,000 pounds. Where is that difference? Same is with our business. If you do not understand what's fixed and what's variable, you will keep spending cash. Yeah, so remember that. Any doubt, any questions? Senthil or Pratap, just prompt me at this stage. If it's flowing okay, then I'm going to carry on. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Quite insightful. Continue.
Yeah, 5 S's. If you have pen and paper, I want you to write down S, 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 S. And as long as you understand the 5 basics of, we'll call it a profit and loss, or we'll call it like a cash flow. You can name it anything for this stage, because profit and loss is different and cash flow is different. My business is profitable and there is cash in the bank. These are 2 different things. My business is super profitable at this stage, but do I have cash in the bank? Probably yes, but not as much as my accountant thinks on the paper of profit and loss. And I will explain why that happens in a minute. Yeah. So the 5 S's are sales, and in technical terms, it's sales or income. Pratap or Darshan, maybe I'll pull Darshan in this. And Darshan, you have started a practice. If you can unmute Darshan.
Yeah, I just have. Yeah.
Darshan, how many revenue streams do you have as a dental practice?
In the sense of because mine is only entirely a private practice, but I have a small dental plan contract.
Sure.
And then we do a little bit of sales of some, sundries. That's sundries. That's it.
You have a hygienist, isn't it?
I'm going to say you have, So I'm going to say, Darshan, this is how usually you will think, but I want to change the thinking for the audience here now. You have at least 10 plus revenue streams. And I want you to break down departments like implants, Invisalign, veneers, crowns, perio, RCTs, crowns, fillings. The list can continue.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing which dentists don't do is they compartmentalize their revenue streams. And the shopkeeper, a retail shopkeeper, you go and ask him how many revenue streams you have, and that person will tell, I have 382, because he's selling 382 items. And we do not know how many items we are selling. Yeah. So that's a clear message for all of us that there are 3 categories. Best selling treatments, medium selling treatment, like 1 or 2 implants in 6 months, and 0 selling treatments, like I don't do Botox, or I don't do maybe a zygomatic implant. So there are certain revenue streams which are not even existing in my practice. And I will only know this if I have done my homework. Yeah. So 6 years ago, I would think I have an NHS practice and a private upgrade. I didn't have any membership plan, so I didn't know what kind of revenue streams I had. But as soon as I know what revenue streams I have, as soon as I go into my data to see, okay, this is working, but this is less and this doesn't exist. Now we'll start focusing on, do I want to grow that not existing stuff or just leave it aside? And this middle part, which is implants, and I really want it to grow, I would want to focus on it. That's where your marketing strategy comes in play. So the first S for sales, just to keep it short, you need to compartmentalize. And if you don't compartmentalize well, you don't know where you want to go. Yeah.
Excellent.
Then comes support. To actually deliver these things, a dentist is required, laboratory is required, material is required, and a waste disposal guy is required. As far as I know, I need these 4 people to support the cost of sales, because if somebody says, can I have implant? I need these 4 people, because the dentist will do the work, the implant guy will do the prosthetics, the material guy will support the materials, and then the waste guy will come and pick up the waste and go. Yeah. But if somebody doesn't come to me for implant, then I don't need this support. Yeah. So remember the word support and remember the word variable. Yeah. Now is the important thing where I call it as a surplus initial, and that is the gross profit. And I'm going to give you some numbers now. If you have pen and paper, you can write it down. And any one of us, Senthil, Pratap, if you can put some numbers in the Q&A for all of us to watch, I'm going to say don't post the thing until I say post. I just want you to start writing those numbers one below another. And when I say post, you can post it in the Q&A. Yeah. Q&A or chat, wherever. So the first number I want you to write down, whoever is writing, Pratap or Senthil or Darshan, is 100. So we'll assume our sales are 100. Then I'm going to say the cost of sales, and I'm going to say I'm going to give the dentist 35 pounds out of 100.
Sorry, Manish, I can't use the chat or the Q&A box, so I can't write it. Maybe Pratap can use it. I don't know.
Yeah, Pratap, can you? Or I can? I don't know.
Pratap?
Okay, I can
Sure.
write on the chat box. That's fine,
Yeah.
guys. No problem.
Yeah.
I'll do it. So I will post it once I write it, because that's a very important screenshot if people want to take at the end of it, because it will give you some industry benchmarks of how to think. And if there are associate dentists sitting in this room, then they will understand the plight of a business owner. So anybody who's a business owner, be rest assured, this post is going to help you and the associates. My humble namaskar from India to say, please look at these numbers. Please save us in the post-COVID times. 100 is the income. I am going to give, let me see if I can do that. No, I couldn't do that. Okay, I've just posted it. 100, then 35 to the dentist. I'm probably going to give 8 pounds to the laboratory. I'm going to probably give 6 pounds to the material guys, and probably I'm going to put a pound, just for argument's sake, to the waste disposal guy. It's not that high, but I'm just going to put it for now. Yeah. So at this point, out of the 100, I'm going to get some mathematics here. 35 is gone. 65 is left. Out of the 65, 8 for the laboratory, 6 for the material guy, and 1 towards the waste disposal is gone. And I'm just going to ask a question. Whoever is unmute, 65 minus 15, how much is that figure?
50.
Perfect. So I'm going to say now 50 is left. And I'm going to say, those are the numbers on the chat box. 100 minus 35 minus 8 minus 6 minus 1, that's 50. Now we know that the surplus, which is left, which is the gross profit, is 50. Industry benchmark for now, I'm going to say, if your business is not doing a gross profit of 50, if it is dipping down to the 45, 40 mark, then you need to be watchful. Yeah. And you need to be watchful because I am going to assume that the next word which comes on the slide is expenses, which is fixed. And I'm just going to randomly say your expenses are 30, and I'm just going to put it in the chat box. And now we have the last figure, which is net profit, which gives us a 20% net balance left.
That's pre-tax. That's pre-tax.
Pre-tax. This is pre-tax. Exactly. So when we get 20 pounds left as a business owner, we are going to pay tax on it. And there are other things which will come into play, which is sort of, if we look at the P&L or the profit and loss, there is going to be some bank payments after this 20 as well. So I won't get into the complexity at this stage, but if we remember that 50 is the gross profit, 30 is gone towards fixed expenses, which is fixed, then 20 is left. And as soon as your gross profit starts changing to 40, if I change the associates to a 50 pound as their 50% income from the gross, then me as a business owner is left with 5 pounds, because they have now taken the 15 pounds extra out of my 20 pound net profit, and only 5 is left. Yeah. So suddenly the key slide, which I think should be coming in a few moments from now, you can watch that now as I quickly explain. I'm just going to take this off from here. So there are two things. Dr. Manish and Dr. Shilpa, we get paid in the cost of sales. Yeah, I'm here in my apron, my clinical uniform. I get paid that 35 pound or 40 pound or 50 pound when I do work worth 100 pounds. Yeah, and I'm happy. I got the money, and I went home. Yeah. And then there is something where the net profit, and this is where I put my suit on and I become Mr. Manish. And Mr. Manish is looking as an investor in that bottom line. Yeah. So what is now happening is Dr. Manish and Mr. Manish, because they are one person, we are all happy end of the day because the business is making good money. Senthil is looking at gross income. I'm looking at gross income, and we're thinking we're making 500K, a million, 2 million, great, great, great. But this is where I want to say there are two things. Dr. Manish needs to survive and Mr. Manish needs to survive. And if they are two different people, and in cases of business investors like corporates or anything, they're sitting in this yellow format with the suit on, where the managers come in and say, do this, no expenses, no materials, I don't need this staff, the hygienist can work without a nurse, or nothing doing, you're not getting this tea and coffee, you need to order it from here, etc., etc. And the problem is these guys are sitting at this end and they want that to work. Yeah. But because if you are the business owner, you're looking at Dr. Manish and Mr. Manish combined income. So at this stage, if I ask the audience, and I can bet on it, business owners, if I say, what is the exact average profit percentage of your business in the last 3 years, 90% of the room will fail, including me. I don't know the average of my last 3 years average profit percentage. Yeah. Now, this is the slide, which is probably the crux of today. And this is the message where I'm saying, let's start thinking differently. Yeah. I was listening to a lecture and it was almost like a different theory. And I'm going to say that now. It is, how much money does my business need to survive? And if I may say, it is the fourth S, which is the spend. If I don't have that 30 pounds to give my staff, give the bank loan, give the rent. So in COVID times, we were only doing the spend, minimum spend as required, but it was fixed. We had to pay the staff. Luckily, UK government came and supported us. Otherwise, we were all finished. Trust me, we would have had 80% failure in the business. 20% would have survived. We had rents to pay. We had the electricity guy to pay. We had some insurances to pay. These were fixed. If I know I need 30 pounds per month, like Senthil said, 30,000 pounds, I'll say 30 pounds to spend. And if I tell myself, I'm taking a big pause here, this is an important one. Mr. Manish wants 20 pounds at the end of all this hard work. We as business owners do not define the cash we need as net profit or cash left on which we pay tax, obviously. We never think about it. We think about the top line. Top line is important, but the S, which is surplus final, which is the net profit, is very, very important. Pre-COVID as well and post-COVID as well. The reality is your business healthy? When we talk about overweight, say for example, I'm overweight, I know my parameters, I know what health is, but I'm unable to come to that point for various reasons. Same way, businesses can't come to that health understanding because they haven't defined what health is. And this is where I want you to think differently with this equation here, which says that surplus plus spend. So surplus final plus spend is the exact cash you require from your business. So if I was you and I was the business owner, from 1st of July when I start, as soon as the first cash comes in, I know I want 20,000 pounds from these businesses. Okay. Some background noise. Can you mute it, Pratap, if at all? That's all right. This is a very important point, guys. If you can promise yourself that I'm running this business and I need 20,000 pounds, 10,000 pounds, 5,000 pounds as net profit, then first of the month as a business owner, as soon as the first 2 implants or 4 implants are paid or some crowns are paid, I'm going to take that money out of my account, business account, and I'm going to park it in the savings account of my business because I want profit. Yeah. Now my business is healthy. Now money comes in and I'll start paying the people who guaranteed need to be paid. Staff, rent, electricity, blah, blah, blah. That's done. Fantastic. Now I need to start paying the dentist, the lab, the materials, everybody. Yeah. So the thinking different at this stage is income comes in, I pay the dentist, the lab, the material, the spend, the expenses, rent, everything. Now I'm trying to scrape the bottom to see what's left for me as a business. Nothing. For us to become hungry, first take that money out, which means that now I'm secure. I have my profit in my bank account. Now I need to work hard because I need to pay so many people. And that is the thinking different. And if you don't have a projection, if you don't have your calculations at the start of the month, you do not know every week what is actually happening. Senthil talked about a quarterly report, exactly what we used to do. Now I don't do that. I project, and I need to know at the end of the week, did we achieve the target? If we haven't achieved the target, somebody is going to suffer, and that somebody is mostly you as a business owner. Yeah. So if you're an associate listening to this and you're aspiring to become a business owner, understanding your business plan, what profit do you need? What are the fixed expenses? Is your total income actually going to suffice these two? And is it going to pay the staff on the clinician, lab, and material? Then it's a viable business. And if it doesn't, and the expenses and profit is nothing which you can manage, then you need some extra funding into your business from day 1 to day 1000. I usually see if you can't hit break even by 1000 days, then it's going to be trouble. And some private practices don't hit this break even for good 6 years, and that's the problem. Yeah. So I might talk about acquisitions if there are any questions later on, but just to close a topic here, think differently. How much money do I need as a healthy business at the end of the month? That's my first bottom line I need to sign off. Then my expenses, and then it comes to cost of sales. Now I know how much I need to earn to make this business survive, because if you don't know the bottom line, you don't know how much you need to earn. People think of the top line, but they don't know what the bottom line is. That's the message. Pratap and Senthil, does that make sense?
Yes.
Absolutely, Manish. I've got a question over here.
Sure.
With the kind of COVID situation right now, what do you think would be the goodwill values of practices going forward?
At the moment, the message in the market is nothing has changed.
Sure.
And the reason for that is no practices have majorly exchanged hands.
Sure.
Answering your question very quickly, if I was into acquisition, I would buy the practice probably at a similar valuation if the bank agrees with the valuation. If the bank comes back and says, no, this is not the valuation, we don't agree, it is at this level, then I will go and negotiate with the vendor to say, I'm sorry, but the banks are not ready. And I would say to the vendor that I will pay you 75% on completion, and I want to pay you the 25% on anniversary 1 if the business hits the targets, only because with the COVID times, things are going to go down. And the first year will tell us if really the valuation stays the same. So I will split the valuation into payments of 75% and 25%. So the valuation may change by the end of 12th month because the practice hasn't been able to perform, and
Sure.
the practice principal needs to be on board to actually deliver the valuation for first anniversary. That's my take. Yeah.
Basically, valuation, the effect of valuations we'll see only 12 months from now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I wouldn't disturb the vendor. I would say, happy to pay your valuation. Let's work together
Sure.
to make the valuation work. By 12th month, you need to put your efforts. I will put my efforts. Let's work on it. But if times are tough and we don't hit it, we need to share the burden at the end, at least 50-50, or you take the 100%. Yeah.
One of the who's attending the webinar has actually messaged on chat saying that he's in the process of acquisition. This is Yoga. And that his bank manager has said that they will review the valuation that they have made before. Yep. Once things become much more clearer.
Absolutely.
So I would updates one of our candidates is given. Yeah.
So Yoga, I think the update, as I'm sure we had a chat on phone as well, that the thing is that we need to watch it, and we need to keep our vendors in good communication, good transparency between each other to say, I really want to buy it, but can we work together, please? Because times are tough. You want to sell, I want to buy, but can we work together so that you don't lose out, I don't lose out? And I think it needs to be very well communicated. That's important. Yeah.
Darshan, you got anything to ask?
Yes, I just wanted to ask you on that particular note as to what we were discussing regarding the application of the valuation pre and post COVID. Would
Yeah.
you say that this runs parallelly among all different types of practices, mixed NHS and purely private ones?
Mixed NHS practices. So in my take at the moment, a practice with a limited NHS contract, then plan or practice plan, and little bit of private is probably a good proposal to buy if I was looking. Completely NHS, I'm not 100% sure with the way NHS is going. And completely private again with no den plan, no practice plan, no membership plan, no secured income. I would be very wary in the new times, at least for 12 months. After 12 months, I will consider private practice on its own.
This is an opinion that you carried since pre-COVID or post-COVID? This is a change in opinion.
Post-COVID.
Post-COVID
And I have been listening to various webinars from Christie and Co. and other valuation agents and speaking to a few. And my take is that at the moment, probably the safest bet is a mix of membership income, NHS income, little bit of private, which can grow. But if it's a maxed out private practice, I would be wary of the valuation.
Thank you. Excellent answer. Thank you.
Okay, so at this stage, just to see if people are warming up, I just want you to say yes. I am. Just use the word yes in the Q&A section for me. That gives me energy to carry on. So there are 60 people listening to is. If I may ask a favor, if it's a yes, if put a yes. And if it's a no, do put a no and put a reason with your question of what you want me to speak about. But if you have got some value in the last 40 minutes or 30 minutes, I don't know. My energy is good. I'm loving it and I'm enjoying it. So we have more to come. So if you just put some comments with yes, I would be very grateful. Thank you. Thanks, Prakash. Thanks, Sheet.
If everyone can put their comments in chat rather than Q&A, because I've set the chat up now, you all will be able to chat there easily.
Okay, guys, don't go on Q&A then. Go on chat. Sorry.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Brilliant. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Sandeep. Gaj, thank you. Okay, so Sheetal, thanks. Shalini, thanks. Shishir, thanks. Sudeep, thanks. Peter, thanks. Gautam, thanks. Okay, good guys, thank you. I want to share the Excel sheet as well with you, but I think I'm in a flow with thoughts. So if you don't mind, I'm going to get onto the Excel sheet right at the end. And if anybody wants a quick 15 minutes with me anytime in the upcoming weeks, then give me a buzz on my mobile number, which I'll give you, because if you're struggling with the cash flow sheet, I might just help you a little bit on 15-minute Zoom calls. Yeah.
Manish, while we are considering these things, can you tell us more about your program that you do actually, the 55 point something, which you mentioned to me about?
Yeah. So I have it's being launched over the next 3 weeks. What I've done, Pratap, is I've sat with an accountant. I have eaten his brain on cash flow and profits, and I have pulled out some information from his accounting brain. I have added my dental theories to it, and I've thought through with his suggestions. And we have come up with a program which is 51 different things to do to actually increase the bottom line. Yeah, because my take at the moment is to see how your net profit is sustainable, how your business is healthy. And we have come up with 51 strategies, which is a quite an interesting one. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, if you remember during our Dental Concepts times together, when we did this program with you, you created a lot of templates for us. Is it similar to that program then?
So this program is video-based program, but my resource kit, as we call it as a Dental Business Masters Vault, will have all the spreadsheets. And it can range from how to pay associates, it can range from cash flow management, profit and loss, how to do a product pricing, how to play with numbers on how much time you have, what is your operational cost. So we can go into a lot of details in finance. Sure. And we have created the toolkit, which means you don't need to use the brains, you just need to put some numbers in, and then you will get your results. Yeah.
Would you be offering some kind of mentorship, virtual mentorship over the phone or video services to potential aspirants?
Yeah, yes, I can. What I'm suggesting at this stage is that if there is a sizable group after this call with Dental Routes, and some people are inspired to come into a room to have a bit more mentoring kind of call, we should do it, and we will take a little commitment fee, like maybe £25 from them, because then there is a core support system in place and there is some commitment in place. So instead of guiding one person, we might use a group of 5, 6, 10 individuals and sit down for an hour, hour and a half, and then we could do some mentoring for them. So one person's question and the other 20 can learn. So we are doing this in India as well, and it works beautifully. So one person doesn't has to pay that hourly fee of £250. So we don't need to do that. We can just share the cost at £25 each and just get on with it.
Fantastic. So that's you do come up with all innovative ideas, Manish. Well done. We'll definitely
times are tough. Yeah, times are tough. We need to save money. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. You can proceed with your next bit, actually, Manish.
Sure. Okay. Now, I'm going to sort of take some questions here. Yeah. And I'm actually happy for people to put some questions into the chat box again. I have no bank balance is the first thing. And the reason is I give this example of a leather pouch. My Indian colleagues have heard this in the DBM panel quite often. It's a leather pouch I used to carry to my dental practice in India. I used to practice for 8 years, 2007 to 2004, 1997 to 2004. And this leather pouch was having a zip on the top. Money used to come in. I used to pop it there, checks, pop it there. There was no back transfer or anything. I used to close the zip, go home, come the next day, same pouch in hand. And then the lab guy comes and I say, oh, how much? I used to open the zip, give it to him. Oh, associate dentist. Oh, staff. Okay. The cleaner. Okay. A rent guy comes in. Okay. So I used to call this magic leather pouch. Zip on the top and zip on the bottom. End of the month, you open and you can see through, and there is nothing left in it. And this is a clear example of how business is being done by a lot of dentists. And there is no calculation. An answer to this question, again, I'm going to pull you all back to the cash flow sheet, and the cash flow sheet with the 5 sections. As long as you understand the 5 sections and you look after the last section, there will be money in the bank account. Next thing is about profit and loss and cash flow. A healthy business suddenly had to close because it was having no cash. Yeah. Imagine my profit is at 20%, and 2 million pounds sort of make it 400,000 pounds. So common sense tells me that 400,000 pounds should be in my bank account, correct? But then Pratap bought that 3-shape scanner. I also need to have that 3-shape scanner. Here you go, 25,000 pounds gone. Yeah. Well, I need a treatment coordinator, then I need an assistant, then I need a chauffeur-driven car, and I need that. The 400,000 suddenly gone. It's a profitable business, but I use that cash for something else. I didn't calculate my tax. I didn't calculate, would I need the money back in COVID times? And suddenly a profit-making business is suddenly gone out of cash. That's exactly what I did in 2018. I pulled all my resources and invested in the Mumbai business, which is a tourism business. It was picking up very, very well, but the run rate was slow. That was my mistake. And suddenly you realize that you put so much cash in, now the tax is going to come. Your income through tourism is slow and steady. People are still trusting you. Yeah. And that income hasn't matched your targets and budgets. Where is the contingency? So no money in the bank account is purely a blunder done by the business owner by actually touching the cash, which is not his cash. As soon as the cash comes into that net profit, your eyes should say, okay, that's for the HMRC. Okay, that's for the rainy day cash if COVID lockdown 2 happens. Okay, oh, that's for me. If I'm out of business and I have an accident, I can't really work, I'm not going to get the Dr. Manish salary. Okay, that's that. Now what is left makes sense. Should I invest back into the business, or should I just park it, or should I get that growth investment done? Now you're thinking. But most of the times we are emotionally driven. We don't think. A material agent comes and says, can you buy this composite? Oh, great offer. You get the light cure. Oh, is that, we get a light cure. Okay, I'll buy the composite now. And you're thinking, shit, do I need the composite? I'll go to a conference and buy like loads of material, and my material budget is only 6%, but now I've bought material worth 10% of my gross. This 4% has suddenly eaten into your net profit, gone, no cash. Material sitting in the cupboard, who's going to use it? It's expired. Go and declutter your businesses now, and you'll realize there is nothing in it. Everything is expired. Say, for example, cash gone. Material can be delivered next day. Why do you want to buy 12 months in advance? There are lots of things. Very important exercise to do, to not land into, I have no bank balance. What's the reason? I work so hard, but you're a fool, Manish, to use that money which was not yours. Yeah. And I've done that mistake. And this is where I'm saying, I used to almost like Gurmeet, Kunal, Pritesh, a lot of people who are working with me, I had to pay their bills of doing implants, etc. And I was like scratching my head, where do I get the money from? And I used to request, can you just wait? I'm going to pay you on this date. And it's embarrassing. And suddenly it's embarrassing because you have taken the cash out of your business. Yeah. I hope my sentiments are coming out there. And it's very important. Yeah. Next one is, my expenses are high. What's wrong? Expenses are high because you do not know the NASDAL numbers. And NASDAL numbers is a National Association of Specialists, Dentists, and Lawyers across the country. And every year they produce numbers. Average mixed practice should be in the 100, 48, 6, 17, 13, and 20 bracket. I've just said some numbers like this, and those are the numbers you need to know. And what these numbers were: 100 gross income, 40 dentist, 8 lab, 6 material, 17 pounds for the staff, 13 pounds for the utilities and rent, and 20 pounds for your profit. So if you know those numbers pit pat, then no expense can be high because you know what your limits are. And most of the dentists don't know their limits. And that's where we think it's high. How is it high? The question is, what's the benchmark? If you don't know the benchmark, that's where where you don't really know, is it high or low? Yeah. And this is a part of business planning. This is a part of actually putting things into numbers. Because if you don't do the spreadsheet, then you're not really going to get that feedback. Yeah. I'm going to screen through quickly on this, but then I'm going to really go into one-to-one if there are more. Yeah. Senthil, do you want to invest in any high-end equipment at this stage?
I'll tell you a small story. Just before the lockdown, I've just spent 55,000 pounds on hard tissue laser.
Right.
And I haven't managed to open it because of the COVID, because I couldn't, the course was canceled. So in hindsight, it's a bad idea. But nothing stopping me from investing. But I'm maybe one of those people who needs to look at the numbers in terms of what's said, because I have taken more money out of the account for the investment.
Yeah, that's fine.
So my opinion on this, Manish and Senthil, would be that investing now is probably a very good idea.
Yes.
Because you can use this off time to set up your practice, so there is no loss of surgery time during working in the future, and you can train your team to this style.
Yeah, that's one way to look at the downtime. Definitely, I have an Itero scanner which arrived on the 19th of March, which was our third scanner, and it was bought for a site. There was some thinking behind it, which is still going to be very useful. But going back to Senthil's investment of 55,000 pounds, there are two different things to look at it. There is an actual tangible, and I'm answering this question, shall I invest in the high-end equipment? What's the return on investment? Then there are two aspects. One is, what's the tangible return and what's the intangible return. Suddenly, in my eyes, Senthil has gone to the next level within a minute, because I'm thinking, boss, great man. Great man. He is invested in a hard tissue laser. Nobody dares to invest in a hard tissue laser very quickly. Yeah. Because that's an instrument which is doing good quality of treatment. But does it have a physical return on investment like this? No. But he takes his treatment to the next level. What it means is there is an intangible return for this investment, which means when the results are beautiful, the person who has invested at that level tells another person that Senthil is good. He has the latest equipment. Ash Parmer is same. And we have learned from Ash Parmer, T-scan, hard tissue laser, soft tissue laser. And I know Ash is lecturing in 3-4 days time or somewhere in the webinar here on Dental Routes. Don't miss it. Ash is really good. So Senthil, me get inspiration. But coming back to the point is the intangible asset which you create from this high-end investment. However, again, Senthil, the ground reality is now you have invested, but if it's a chance to rethink about a future investment of £50,000, then I would compartmentalize my A4 page and write down the tangible returns and intangible returns. And if the tangible returns plus the intangible returns are giving me a thumbs up in cash as well as marketing, stroke goodwill generation, stroke patient recommendations, then I'll definitely make that investment. And 3Shape scanners, iTero, Medit, whatever, the biggest intangible result is it's almost like a video camera converting sales like this. So I scan the patient's mouth, I show it on 40-inch screen, and the patient tells me the treatment plan more than me telling me the treatment plan. So I record my scanner machine within 10 days. Yeah, sorry, Pratap.
Just to add a comment onto this, Manish, it's similar in my situation too. So every time I have made an investment in a equipment or anything, we decide how we would use it before we buy it. Once the product is purchased, we train ourselves as a team. And I have noticed myself that usually the investment, the return of investment is straight away within 6 months. So just to give a quote, like things like scanners, I have a light touch hard tissue laser too.
Correct.
So the kind of works they end up doing and the convenience they give you as a clinician, it's amazing.
Yes, yes. And important is to see that the financial backing doesn't get too much disturbed and you have staged the payments, etc. So there are lots of things to be considered. Yeah. But shall I invest in high-end equipment? The answer is yes. Sensibly looking at the tangible and intangible returns, and you need to write it down specifically to say, I'm going to invest in this, and the return on investment is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and intangible is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Once you do that and you feel confident, then you invest, yeah, and then you stagger the payments or whatever. CBCT was one for me. I was thinking, oh shit, it's £50,000 in 2014. What do I do? And we did some calculations. I was not savvy as much as I am today, but I did some base calculation. I thought if I do 6 CT scans in a month, that itself is covering my EMI, and that's great. And if I get implants converted, that's additional bonus, and the timeline is reduced. And my predictions were correct. Within probably 1 year, 1.5 years, the investment was back. Yeah, so that's the answer. COVID times or pre-COVID times, post-COVID times, investment fundamentals are still the same. Should I increase my prices? I am going to interview again Darshan. Darshan, if you're there.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick up something like maybe a veneer, a porcelain veneer at your end. What would I invest to do 2 central veneers?
It's about £1,400 normally for £700 per veneer.
So when you use the word normally, do I get a discount?
Well, this is, I'm talking about COVID situations. I thought,
I don't need an answer. I put this into play is because most of the dentists will use the word normally. Why do we use the word normally? There is only price, isn't it? Price for my veneers is £1,400 normally, but if I give it to you, it will be around £600, and that's where everything starts crashing up. Yeah, I'm not meaning to offend you. But
no, not at all. What I meant is about the COVID situation. That's what I was saying. No, without COVID, I would be charging 700. Now I'm not sure is what else. That's why I used it. But now I can see your point.
Very, very important point is coming out. should I change my prices down to 650? And I don't think you can give the answer. The answer will be given by a spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet will be purely written down to say, if I do a 700-pound veneer, I need to pay the dentist, we'll say roughly 300 pounds, 400 pounds are left. Angelo is going to take 150 pounds for the veneer. So after 400, 150 is gone. So what is left? 250. In the 250, actually, I have used my chair time for maybe 2 hours, and my chair time is 60 pounds an hour. So out of the 250, 120 is gone, which is my operating cost. Okay, so what is left now? 130 pounds left. Okay, I'm happy as Mr. Darshan to take the 130 pounds. Oh, it's COVID times, I better reduce it. I reduced it to 650. Out of the 130, 80 is gone, 50 is gone, 80 left. Oh, I need to buy the PPE, which is costing me 30. I bought the PPE, and the price is, what is left in your pocket is 50.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, guys? Because if now we are thinking, if it's only going to be 50 pounds left, why the bloody hell am I going to do all this exercise for that 50 pounds from that whole thing? So the answer to the question is, as long as you start thinking differently, I need 20% profit. 700, the item is sold, I want 140. Par. My fixed expenses are 120, which is 2 hours of my time. So 260 pounds is what I want, period. After this, I will add the PPE. I will add the dentist cost. I will add the lab cost. I will add whatever the extra variable cost is. Now is my price. Should I increase the price? You can't say unless you know what your bottom line is. And that's the clear message in this presentation, to say bottom line is important. And yes, we have to be mindful of the situation. For 12 months, my bottom line may not be 20%. I will take the hit and I'll say, okay, for the community, my business is going to take the hit of 10% in my profits, 50% in my profits. And I'm going to reduce my 20 pounds to 10 pounds. Fair enough. Now you do the product pricing. Does the PPE actually fit in? Actually, the PPE fits in, but I still need to charge the patient another 20 pounds. So my 700 pound veneer becomes 720. So you are sharing your costs now with the patient in a fair way so that you reduce your profits if there are any. And somebody is charging 500 pounds for the veneer and sending it to Angelo or Amdec or some fancy lab who does really good work, he might already be in a loss. And if you are in a loss, you can't really add PPE to it. You need to revise the prices. Yeah. So my clear suggestion to the group is, shall I increase my prices? Please do the cash flow forecast. Put a little number in there to see what is my product price at this stage. What's my variable expense? What's my fixed expense? What's left at the bottom line? Am I happy with it? If I'm happy with it, then I will charge the patient the PPE cost because I just want that money. If I'm too happy with it, I can reduce it. Then I will absorb the PPE cost. And if I'm moderately happy, then half PPE cost with me, half PPE cost with the patients. And just be fair. Just be fair to your patient. Just be fair to your business health, because your business health compromised, you're gone, team is gone, patients are gone. So the business is important. I always say the hierarchy is patients first, team second, business third, and fourth is me. I will only be there if there is a business. Business will be there if there is a team and there are patients. Yeah. So maybe I put myself at number 4, but these 3 people, patients, team, and the actual business, they are going to support me. So I better look after them. Yeah. And most of the times we put business 4th and we are not looking after it. And suddenly that business starts shaking. And then all these 3 people are in problem. Discounts, looking after patients, giving them favors. End of it, the 4th person on the bottom gets squeezed. And don't let your business get squeezed, because you cannot serve to the best of your capacity in the right health, in mind, brain, and in the bank balance unless you look after it. Yeah. So shall I increase my prices? The cash flow sheet will tell you.
Manish, can I just add to that?
Yeah.
With the post-COVID, I think we should increase the price purely because we haven't calculated the fallow time now. They are saying that the fallow time is almost an hour. So, in fact, if you based your costing pre-COVID, post-COVID, in fact, automatically, if you calculate at the same level, your profit goes down.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Operating costs are going to increase, PPE costs are going to increase, but there might be people with a pricing which is already having a 30% profit. And as a favor to the community, favor to the unprecedented times, we might want to drop our profits to 20%. But if you are a practitioner who is doing a business at 5% profit level, because most of the times the dentist don't know what the profit level is. And at this point, I know every revenue stream's profit level, and I'm quite sure I'm going to share at certain areas, I'm going to share the PPE cost with the patients. And at certain areas, I'm going to pass the PPE cost to the patients because there was no margin anyways, and the times have increased. Yeah. Okay, Shilpa has said, please advise on investment and COVID uncertainty going back to work. Okay, what I'll do is I'll park a couple of questions and come back to you. I'll just finish the couple of slides left, yeah? Pratap, how long are we already? I don't have the time sense at the moment.
So we are okay in time, Manish. Take your time as much as you want. We would love to hear your insights. We don't have any time at this point in time.
But okay. just for my understanding, is it 1 hour 15 minutes since we started?
It's 4:15 now. So we have done about an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay.
But so we would love to hear more from you.
Last couple of slides, and then people who want to stay back with Q&A, they can stay back. Yeah. Cosmetic dentistry recession, will it happen? Will it not happen? I don't have a crystal ball at this stage, but my basic understanding at this stage is pre-COVID or post-COVID, human needs are the same. Everybody likes confidence. Everybody wants the love and connection. Everybody wants to feel significant. Everybody wants to grow. Everybody wants to feel secure and comfortable. And all these human needs are related to a smile. So if anybody is smiling with a big gap before COVID or after COVID, he will still have a problem with his human needs. So my best guess is people who can prioritize their human needs, and wherever there is trigger factor to put them underconfident or low confident or distressed with their appearance, they will go ahead with cosmetic dentistry. I don't think it's going to change dramatically, but it might take 6 months to 8 months to just come back. So I would sincerely hope there is no change. Yeah, that's the answer. How do I build practice back again? I am going to give you probably 3 or 4 words. If you have pen and paper, this is my reflection over several weeks. How do I build my practice back again? And the first word coming to my mind is time. You need to give time for the business to get that J curve again. So be patient. You need to slow down your dentistry to cope up with the new challenges. And you need to give enough quality time to your patients. Don't rush. So if you can make time as your big thing in this coming back to practice thing and get your head around it, that's one. The next word comes to my mind, again, starting with a T, it is team. Make your decisions not on your own, with your team. Yeah, make sure you're with your team. You're doing things such a way that everybody is on board and they're one strong voice to say this is right and take collective decisions. Team is important, and don't take individual decisions, because the highest alarm bells will first be flagged up by your team, and then secondly by your patients. So if your team is strong about the changes you're making, then there is a dim chance the patients will flag up any alarm bells. Yeah, so team is important. Third T again is technology, because if you're not using scanners, if you're not using virtual video consultations, if you're not using the online mechanisms in the new world, you are going to lose out, because time is of essence and the team is limited, because that's the highest cost to the business. So use technology instead of more team members. Use technology instead of more time. Yeah, so time, team, technology. And probably the fourth word coming again is T, and you need to build something called as trust back in again. And the trust is purely with patients to say we are safe, we are working normally, we will help you, we just need some more support over 3 to 6 months, be patient. So communication, which is talking, another T. So you need to talk well or communicate well to get the trust. You need your team behind you. You need technology behind you. And the most important thing is time. You need to be patient. You need to be calm. And as I speak these words, as I'm reflecting, I'm telling myself, things are not going to be rocket level in month one. Just be patient and just go slow and just make sure you are safe. And if everybody is safe, things will start coming back to normal. So how do I build my practice back again?
So just to add a tip into this, Manish, one of the things we are planning to do as part of Dental Routes going forward is we'll create some kind of a video which will which will be Dental Routes perspective of what a patient journey should be to help in building the practice. Participants are welcome to come and see it online. It's not ready yet, but it will come by the time soon. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Brilliant. Okay, so that's my answer. Welcome to any more feedback on this, but I think it's all about numbers, capital, cash reserves in the bank account when you start. That's very important, because now almost like there was a race going on. We were all running, and at a certain point, suddenly the referee said the race is finished. Go back to the start line. There is no race anymore. And for 3 months, we were out of the race. It has given us some breathing time. It has given us some thinking time. And now we're going to start the race again. Now we know how much energy it needs. Where is the vitamin M coming from? Where I'm going to get my drink? Where do I need to stop? Where do I need to breathe? Where do I need to build my muscles in business sense? So you're going to start the race again. Make sure there is enough food in the bank account to actually start. So if you haven't actually done the contingency planning for next 6 months, alongside the time, team, training, technology, trust, talking stuff, you really need to have some financial education before you start the business again. What's my worth? So this is about the practice valuations, and I don't want to be a practice valuation expert, but roughly you need to figure out what is your business net profit. And then if you multiply your business net profit by a figure of 5 or 6, so assume I have net profit of £100,000, and that has to be net profit and not gross profit or not the total income of Dr. Manish and Mr. Manish. So if it is net profit of £100,000, then I would be in a safe zone in 2020 to say multiplied by a 5 or a 6, and you won't be far off. Your practice could be worth 500,000, 600,000. It could be 800,000 as well if there are some really brawny points in the practice. But roughly, what's my worth? It is 5 times my net profit in simple terms. If I start talking on EBITDA and top level multiples, etc., there are various calculators, but the safest calculator is if an investor comes in, I go to Pratap and say, Pratap, I would like to buy your practice. If I can't get my returns back in 5 years or 6 years, that's not worth putting my money in. So that's how investors are thinking at this stage. So if anybody is looking out to buy a practice, roughly try and get the net profit understanding correctly, multiplied by a 5 and 6, and then see what the practice valuation is being given by the agent. Ask more questions around it, and then you know what worth that practice is. So almost I'm there at the end of the presentation. I'm going to leave this slide here. I'm very okay to receive any feedback through Dental Routes or a simple email or a WhatsApp message to me. My phone number is here. If you have liked what you have seen today, and I'm here for more questions, I want to thank Pratap, Senthil, Darshan, and Kaushik for all this. And if I can be of any help in the future, let me know. I'm open for any questions at this stage. Pratap, you're on a mute. We can't hear you.
There is a question from Ajay. He says he is just bought into a practice and he wants to expand, basically, taking a D1 permission. So he's worried that because he hears from people saying that you would wait now, not actually expand, not use the money on doing investments. What's your opinion on this?
Some say investors, they will make money long term. It's Ajay Menon,
Yeah.
Ajay, yeah. So Ajay, if you have already bought a practice and it's already running, I think the mechanism is very simple. You need to do the cash flow forecast. You need to do the investment return forecast to see the tangible and intangible things. Same example as I gave before. And then you say, okay, I am going to expand because, and if you're talking about property expansion and building new surgeries in with your own property, I haven't understood the D1 permission, because if you have bought a practice, it should have a D1 permission already. So that confuses me a little
No,
bit.
no, he's applied for the D1 permission. He's waiting for it, but now he's planning for the future.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I think what he's trying to say is that he's bought or he's expanded to a next door, and he's trying to apply for D1 permission for the new premise. I think.
Okay. So basically, he has a
Sorry to
premise
interrupt.
and he has another premises to purchase with a D1 planning permission to get into. So I'm going to give one insight. Property business is separate. Dental business is separate. So if you buy the property now and invest and lock your money in, and you want to sit over it and it doesn't bother your cash flow, then my recommendation is, yes, please go ahead, but take some property expert advice to say, I'm buying a property for say 100K, and that property is not going to drop down to 50K in 6 months time. So take an advice. And if you're going to buy the 100K property, and even if it drops to 50K and it doesn't really bother you because you're going to sit on it for the next 15 years till you exit, then property investment, I don't think is a problem. Should I expand and put dental chairs in there? There are two thinkings at the moment in the industry. One is don't, because there won't be enough business in the existing premises. And my thinking is the other way around. I'm thinking if I'm going to do bloody 4 or 5 patients on one chair where I used to do 20, I rather have 2 more surgeries in play so I can cater to more people in the same kind of operating expenses or a little increased operating expenses to serve and have more income. So if I had space, I would actually invest in a surgery or 2 more within the next 3 to 6 months, because my guesstimate is the if the turnaround time doesn't change and hours treatment will take 90 minutes, I rather have more resource and surgeries to cater to patients, because my operating costs are going to be so high that I won't be able to survive with the existing resources. So answer actually is, I would expand if I'm thinking in the right way, that there will be more demand and less bandwidth in the existing practices like mine in Whitchurch.
Yeah. Ajay says thanks. And Nitin has a question too. Nitin wants you to highlight, throw some light on time-bound return of investment in terms of time and money from 2 perspectives. One from the practice owner point of view and one from the associate point of view. What are your thoughts about this?
Yeah. So time-bound return on investment, which means you are investing, Nitin is investing in a practice.
Now, what do your perspective is compared to what they would invest as time and money now, post-COVID? What is going to be the scenario for associates compared to pre-COVID, as well as for the practice owners? What do you think would be the main features? Are they going to make less money, more money? And do you think that contractions are
point, please, can you throw some light on time-bound return of investment in terms of time and money? I mean, associate and practice principal perspective. So if you are an associate, the prediction in the market is not because the practice owners wants to pay less to the associates, but they will be forced to cut down on the cost of sales. And there are 4 people in cost of sales: clinicians, lab, material, and waste disposal. I cannot change the fixed expenses because they're fixed. So the only thing which I can change is my net profit or the cost of sales. So answer to your question is, associates might take a little bit of pay cut over the next few years till things start coming back. Or if the patients are prepared to pay higher, both associates and net profit, which is the business, can stay the same, but it's unlikely that the prices will go up in the economy. So as an associate, there is a high chance the associate market will take a pay cut. That's my prediction, and I hope I'm wrong. Everybody can survive in the new world, but businesses are going to take a hit as well, and associates are going to take a hit as well. Does that answer the question, Pratap?
Yes, absolutely, Manish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nitin, if it doesn't, then put something in the chat box.
Nitin has thanked us. He says, thank you, Manish and Pratap.
Yeah.
He's happy with your answer. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. BK has said I haven't still shown the Excel sheet, have I?
Yeah,
So,
you're waiting for your Excel sheet, Manish.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
while you are getting ready for the Excel sheet, let me just share a screen of mine just for a few seconds.
Sure.
You can get ready for this Excel sheet, Manish. So I want to just take a few minutes just to talk you through upcoming programs. What's going to happen to you.
I'm just exiting for a glass of water. I should have kept it ready. Yeah, carry on.
So this is our today's webinar. I hope you all enjoyed it thoroughly. Manish still has to show us the Excel sheet. Hang on to the screen still. Our next program is 2 days from now, on the 3rd of June. Pawan has kindly agreed to be the speaker on that day. And Dental Routes are very proud to host this digital workflow, past, present, and future, how it was and how it is going to be used. And Pawan is an expert and his special interest is digital dentistry. He'll walk us through his insights. The next one is by Shami about GDC and CQC. Let me just get that file. Yeah, there we go. So on the 6th of June at 3 o'clock again. Sorry, I lost the screen. Yeah. So it's GDC, CQC, where are we? Very insightful thoughts again with respect to how dentists equation with the GDC and CQC are going to be. We look forward to it. Please do attend both the programs. And then I'll hand it back to Manish now. Manish, you can take the screen.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm going to look at my other screen. So if you can focus on the spreadsheet, let me just shift this a little bit, get this in play. Okay, let's watch the screen for now. Let me move this out. I'm just going to show, I'll go to personal. So there are, okay, let's start from the first, yeah? There is a cover page, just to fill in your practice details, date, your name. Then you go into something called as consolidated cash position after March. So I had done it at end of March to forecast the COVID times from April until September. And I just wanted to see, so I've just put 2 dental practices as an example. Somebody might have 2 or 1. They can add more to it if they like. Then there is business 1. And as I said to Darshan, income stream 1, 2, 3, there could be different income streams, NHS, dental plan, practice plan, pay as you go, MOS income, etc., etc. Then less cost of sales, which is lab 1, lab 2, lab 3. Then overdue payment to suppliers from previous months, hygienist fees, materials, specialist payments or associate payments, waste disposal, and there might be some more variable expenses for you, which can be there. Then this is what is the cash left after paying the cost of sales. And then you have your operating expenses, which is insurance, whitening, bookkeeping fees, consulting. You think of, and we have put it in there, but we can add if you want. If you want to, you can add basically. And then there is a total. Then there are other miscellaneous costs like advertising, marketing, patient finance charges, card processing charges, etc. Then there are staff costs, employer national insurance, pensions, salaries, etc. And end of it, there is a total operating expense. And then there is something called as net cash remaining. Yeah. So almost like if I have to go to my PowerPoint presentation, that's the first S, which is sales. Then there is the second S, which is cost of sales. Then there is surplus initial, which is gross profit. Then there is spend, which is expenses, which is the fixed expenses. And then on the bottom, there is surplus final. And the different thinking you need to do is, I need this plus this as my basic money when I start my business. And I'm going to secure my operating expenses and my net profit first. And then I want the business to work hard to pay everybody who's sitting in here. And that could be me as a dentist, and Angelo as a laboratory guy, and dental directory as a material guy, etc., etc. And once I know that they need to be paid so much, then I know what my top line should be predicted. Yeah. So you have to work, focus towards that end if you want things to happen. Yeah.
Manish,
Now,
I have a request. Would you be able to share these documents on our web platform for our registrants to get access to?
Sure. As I finish the program, I will definitely have a chat of how we can do it. Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Manish.
Yeah. What I'm going to, yeah. So we will plan it, and if anybody needs access, it's sitting on the Dental Business Masters platform at this stage. So if I get email addresses, then they can all have entry straight into the COVID cash flow sheet, and they can download it from there. So it's there. Yeah. So there we are. And I've done it for business one, and similar format is there for business two, same one. If there are any questions around this, ask me. And then I'll go to the personal sheet, which is how much cash savings do I have? What is my income as Dr. Manish and Mr. Manish, which comes into my bank account? How many personal loans can I actually take in this cash flow forecast situation from different personal loans, bounce back loans, etc. And what is the cash available in the bank account on 31st of March, or whenever you start doing this cash flow forecast, the only figure you need to put in here, and after that it automatically calculates the cash left for us. So anywhere where there is a color, you cannot enter any figures because they are locked. I guess it's locked. Yeah, it's locked. So anywhere it says it's locked, it is locked for a purpose because there is a formula set in there. Yeah. So wherever it's highlighted with gray or green or whatever, you can't put any figures. It's calculated. Yeah, it's a calculator. Then in payments, we have mortgage, rent, food, water, gas, internet, electricity, gym, medical insurance, mobile one, ledger one, card payments. You can input more of your own personal expenses. And at the end of it, it gives you cash left in hand for, if at all, your income is more than your expenses. Yeah. Also remember, there is one thing missing here, and that is tax. So whatever income you have got here in the top line, you need to actually make, that's actually a message for me to tidy up the sheet. I need to make a column here to say tax, which automatically calculates that this money is already gone. Because if I have 10,000 pounds as income, in the expenses, the tax calculation should come at roughly at a 3,000 pound mark, at a 30%, if I may say. And suddenly you have only 7,000 pounds left to actually spend. Yeah. So please add tax into it, and the total on the basis here. Yeah, it actually transforms into the consolidated section. So at the end of, I knew at end of March what my consolidated position would be at end of September. So I knew my business could survive for 6 months, 12 months, whatever it was, based on the cash position, the loans, the extra revenue which I was going to get, pending bills from NHS, etc., and my personal savings. So I could sense if COVID times keep the business closed for next 6 months, then I can still survive. And as things develop with the furlough, the bounce back loans coming in, I now know I can probably survive with a closed business for maybe even 18 months. So that's how my strength was increased. In a sense, I was nervous in March, but as time passed, I'm thinking this is the best thing to happen. I can even survive for next 12 to 18 months without any cash coming in. However, if the business starts again, my economy changes, because bank loans will come in, furlough will stop, tax payments will kick in, everything will kick in, staff payments will kick in. And now I'm revising my cash flow for July to December, because suddenly there won't be any help, there will be limited income, and there will be limited cash. So times are going to change. But because I have the toolkit, I can keep playing with the numbers. As soon as I clear off all the suppliers, the numbers start changing. As soon as new income comes in, numbers start changing. And you need to be on the ball constantly if you want to sleep well at night. That's the message.
So
I don't know if this, yeah.
Just to take on from this position, if
Yeah.
we can even actually put all the data for all these months, and we
Yeah.
can arrive at what was the growth rate of the practice, basically last 6 months. You can see ups and downs in the practice then straight away.
So this is for a projected one, but yes, you can.
You put the retrospective putting data.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
can arrive at the growth rates.
Yeah, absolutely. Growth rate, again, Pratap, the confusion is, what do we call it as growth? Do we call growth for the profit growth?
So you could measure at various parameters. That's what I'm trying to say. With the way you have set up the formulas, you can actually look at gross growth rate, how it's been. You could put it up in a chart. You could look at various factors like income, what is the tax you have paid. You can measure data over a period of 6 months to a year.
Yeah, this calculator can be used for cash flow, profit and loss, projected, retrospective, no problems at all. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. I'll stop screen share, and if at all there is any last question, we can. And if the candidates are happy, we can close.
Yeah. Guys, panelists, Senthil, Darshan, any questions you got?
Prakash said cannot see your screen. Were you able to see the Excel sheet?
So we were able to see the sheet.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
probably just one now.
Okay.
That was a very insightful presentation, Manish. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I also feel that yes, we are in the period of uncertainty, but most of the innovation is done in uncertain time. So that means if people want to invest in the practices, buying practices, invest in upskilling themselves personally or upgrading their surgery, I think this is a good time because it's quieter. We can think carefully, invest correctly. That means we are ready for the growth. I think we put it this way, the travel industry is about 37 billion pounds. Not many people is not going to travel for next 1 year. So that means there is a lot of disposable cash there. So possible. I think we'll be really busy. It's only the workflow, how we are getting it. In fact, like to Ajay's question, if he has a second surgery, market it well. In fact, that can be picked up well because I think there will be a demand for the. That's my prediction. There will be demand for us.
Yeah.
So one of the things I would like to add into this discussion is how modern technology is going to take over in a large extent in terms of digital communication, non-cash payments, how easy and accessible it's going to get with the customer to the business. And even the means of communication in terms of consents, appointment booking, all this will evolve and the patient journey is going to entirely change, making life far more easier and more auditable. I think we are looking at very interesting times post-COVID. Yeah. And even the stress of seeing a lot of patients that will go away. We'll be restricted to the number of patients we would be able to check in a day.
Yeah, it's a time for quality. I feel it's a time for quality dentistry.
Yeah, definitely. There is one question here come up from Prakash. Share your thought on finance options for treatments. Who is recommended? We use Medenta and we use Duology, and finance options have been existing in the practice and they continue. we lose out on close to 9 to 10% of the gross income, because that's what they take from us, ranging between 7 to 10%. But usually I'll keep the 10% mark. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's make a disclaimer. Manish has kindly given up his precious time, valuable time, especially during this busy period of setting up practice for the 8th opening. He has taken time. He is, as a willing charity, he's come, spent 2 hours with his friends, talking about the business of dentistry, the practice finances. He has given us his insights. And I think we have all today become much more richer just by listening to him, giving his opinions and views about various aspects of practice finance. I think Yoga has asked for another question.
Yeah.
But will offering finance improve practice gross income? What are your views, Manish?
Yeah, I'll answer that. And I teach sales and marketing as well. So as a salesperson, as a marketing person, I'm going to just be very, very, what do you call it? I'm not going to be embarrassed to ask for a kind of a rating at this stage. I do this after every program. So even if you give me a 1 score, that's fine. As I'm answering this last question, whatever 44, 45 people are in there, if you can put a number between 1 and 10, 10 for being, we loved it to the extreme, or 9, 8, 5, 1, whatever it is, and put a feedback in there, that would be great in the chat box. I'll keep answering the other question. If anybody wants to send a written feedback as a WhatsApp, that would be amazing as well. So thank you. So answer to Yoga's question is 80% of the high-end treatments in my practice go through practice finance. So it's a no-brainer to say that the practice finance needs to be in place, because if you don't have that easy bite-in option for people, I usually give an example of a big apple and small pieces of apple. If you give them in small chunks, it's easily palatable. And we don't say implant costs you 2,500 pounds. We usually say implants, when people invest, it costs them roughly around the 200 pound mark per month. So when people hear 200 pounds per month, it's more digestible than 2,500 pounds, because if they spread the cost over 12 months, they can easily split it out. So practice finance is a must. Yeah. So
I got one more information to give. We will put this, we are recording this webinar. Manish has kindly given his consent for us to record and put it on our website. So all participants can actually go back and look at this webinar at your own pleasure. You can ask your friends, and I would request you to ask your friends and family to watch this, give us their support. We will put this on YouTube. If you can actually look at our Dental Routes YouTube channel, and you can actually access just the video from there if you want to. If you want CPD, then you will need to log into our website, and you can download the certificate. Right now, there has been a lot of internet issues going on right now. So there might be a button which says that you will be contacted for your CPD certificates, but we will definitely contact you and give you your CPD certificates within the next couple of days. Thank you very much. Manish,
one last thing.
Final last words.
So thanks a lot, Manish. That was really, really good. We enjoyed it. I think comprehensive, eye-opening, and aspiring are 3 words I'll probably take away from your lecture. It's really, really good. I think a lot of my colleagues who attended the lecture will agree with me on that.
Thank you. No,
Thanks
I'm
again.
Very grateful. I've seen the numbers. Usually when we do this kind of seminars, when there are no people in the room, the only way the speaker can feel energized is by looking at the chat box. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Senthil, Darshan.
Thank you.
So I've been looking at the reviews, Manish. The chat is giving you all 10s. Almost the entire 100% have given you 10s. That speaks for how highly your intelligence has you're gained in terms of practice finances.
Just to conclude there, it's a human need of significance and love and connection. and the chat box
So,
with that.
since we have just as a lasting parting thing, Manish, would you be able to put your slide on your program that you were discussing to me about?
Yep.
Would you like to just give us a few tips about that program?
Yeah,
Do you have that slide with you?
I don't have it ready on the screen here, but we can always, if you can, I'll send you a slide which you can just email out to everyone.
Sure.
And just to say again, it's the 51 strategies to improve your profits. And in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we'll launch it. And obviously Dental Routes is going to pass the message to all of you. It's a simple 60 videos, 5 minutes each. You're driving your car, you're sitting on your laptop, on your phone. You can watch it from anywhere and do 5-minute modules and take up this 51 tips. And if I have to close this program and if I have to give one tip, maybe just to share what the insights are, is something like I have 10,000 pounds cash sitting in my bank account, just like an extra cash sitting in my bank account. There is a laboratory who I really like, and I have done 10,000 pounds worth of business with them in the past year. I will approach that laboratory and say, what if I commit to you for the next 12 months and I give you the whole money, which is 10,000 pounds upfront? Would you credit me back 10%? Which means I will get 11,000 pounds worth of work done from you this year at the same rates, same quality, and I'll pay you in advance. So your money is not going to get 10% income, say for example, from anywhere. Suddenly 1,000 pounds are added to your bottom line and your profit level shoots up. So that's one of the strategies where extra cash, give it to a guaranteed supplier and actually get 10% on the bottom line straight away by the end of the year. So you can use your money more effectively. And that's one of the strategies in the 51. And there's some really amazing insights which have come up where I was filming the program and I was like, oh dear, I've never done that. Let me do that. And I'm quite energized with that program.
I will be very honest, Manish. I think of myself as a successful entrepreneur, businessman, dentist. But having listened to your just this tip, I'm excited and I want to do this course. Let's actually chat up over a program, something very similar where you can describe more about this program, and we'll put it on to all our participants and registrants so that they can come on board this platform. It was really lovely speaking to you, Manish.
Thank you.
I hope all our participants are very happy with what we did today. It was a team effort. We thank you very much. Without you, our program has no meaning. And we are very grateful to everyone who has attended today. And my final thanks to all the panelist members. Manish, we would love to see you again on our platform. Thanks a lot, Manish.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
See you on Thursday.
See you Thursday. Thanks a lot.
Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.